Hi YouTube. Just wanted to do a quick little short video, kind of an update just on how things are going. Today I am 5 weeks and 6 days, so one more day and I'll be 6 weeks. Not a whole lot of symptoms going on, a little bit of burping still here and there, a little bit of gas, occasional breast tenderness, nothing major. Like the amount that I'm having now, if I didn't already know I was pregnant, would not have triggered the signal that, hey, she's probably pregnant. Now, in the beginning, it was horrible. It was really, really, really bad. I mean, it hurt to wear a bra, hurt to lay down, everything. These days, it's just an occasional twinge every now and then. Feels like little electric shocks maybe on the sides, but nothing too terribly. I'm involved. Like I said before, I think maybe because I'm on the progesterone supplements that... because I'm taking such a high dose, well, what I consider a high dose, 200 milligrams per night, that it's kind of evened out, and my body's gotten used to it, if that makes sense. So I think that's why the symptoms aren't as bad these days. But nonetheless, I am having a lot of round ligament pain. It is driving me insane. Every time I cough, every time I sneeze, if I have been sitting down and I get back up, oh my goodness, it hurts so bad. I mean, like severe stabbing pain. And, you know, I know that it's normal. I know that it happens. I know that, you know, it's just part of being pregnant. But, you know, sometimes it worries me because I'm like, is that really what it is? Or is that something else? But no, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You know, so I've been trying to not, you know, spaz out and have anxiety. You know, as my husband could say, I'm already a hypochondriac, so I try not to be one as best I can, you know, but when you've had pregnancies with problems before, you know, you tend to be a little more overly sensitive to stuff than I think regular people. But nonetheless, other than that, things are going all right. You know, I have a really good feeling that this baby's going to be okay, so I'm trying to remain positive, trying to, you know, make sure that I don't have anxiety over little things, trying to make sure that I don't, you know, every little ache and pain, don't feel like something's wrong. Trying to make sure that, you know, I understand it's okay, you know, that this is what's going to happen. There are issues, you know, but making sure that I just don't make them, I guess, mountain out of a molehill, if that makes sense. You know, and like I said, that's got to be just because I've had 2 losses now issue. Because with my first 2 pregnancies, I wasn't nearly as hypochondriac-ish. Especially not with the second child. Now, with the first child, I was a little bit, and that's only because when I first got pregnant, they, you know, scared me pretty much and said, oh, we think you're probably going to end up having a miscarriage. So the rest of the pregnancy, I was a little scatterbrained until, like, maybe the midpoint. And by the time I hit, like, you know, 20 weeks, I was fine. But, like, with my second pregnancy, I wasn't the hypochondriac that, you know, I currently am. You know, but it is what it is. And my whole thought process is, you know, like I told him, I try not to run back and forth to the ER. Last pregnancy, I was in the ER, I think 4 or 5 times before I lost the baby at 11 and a half weeks. Was some of it a little unnecessary? Maybe, but I mean, you know, when I went, they did find out twice I had a UTI that nobody discovered, and there was bleeding, so I had a very valid reason. I mean, I bled, not just a little spotting, but bled from about 4 weeks until 11 and a half weeks, and I lost the baby. So, I mean, you know, I had a valid reason for going, but in all, did I still lose the baby? Yes. Was there anything they could really do for me? No, not really. They gave me, you know, antibiotics twice, and that was kind of it. But, you know, when it's all said and done, going to the ER and spending hundreds of dollars, even after my insurance pays their portion, their 80%, is it worth it? And that was my thing. Like with this round ligament pain, you know, it's really starting to get to me. And I started to go to this evening to the ER. And I talked to my husband and I told him, I said, you know, if I go, are they going to be able to fix it? No. If I go, they're going to tell me that's regular aches and pains. You'll live, take some Tylenol, and go lay down. Well, I already the only thing I do is lay down. From the time I get home, you know, I take it easy. I lay down, whatever light housework, you know, has to be done, I do it. I do whatever light laundry, you know, if I'm going to cook dinner, and then I pretty much go and I lay down, and I stay laying down until I take my progesterone about 10, and then it knocks me out. So, I mean, at this point, I have turned into, for lack of a better word, a couch potato that just lays in the bed all the time. And part of that is because last time I was on modified bed rest / pelvic rest. And so you know, that's what I did. I laid down, and of course, you know, obviously it didn't do too much good, or I'd have, you know, a baby now. But I mean, it's one of those things where I guess for me now, if I lay down and I take it easy, I feel like I have some sort of control over making sure the baby's okay. I know that sounds bad, and I know it's not necessarily true, but I figure if I do my part and take it easy, maybe I'll be okay. So, you know, it's one of those things where pretty much when I get home, all I do is lay down anyhow. So I'm trying to be proactive and, you know, just believe that everything's going to be all right. And like I said, you know, but still take it easy too. I try not to lift anything too heavy. I try not to do too much, exert myself. I try to make sure I stay hydrated, because that was a big problem last pregnancy. I was dehydrated. In fact, one of those ER trips where I was having cramping really bad, they told me it was because I was dehydrated. So they put me on an IV when I got there, and, you know, we kind of went from there. So anyhow, I talked myself out of going to the ER tonight because I just, you know, I had a heart-to-heart. Look, they can't fix round ligament pain, and even if there was something else wrong, they can't really fix it either. You're already on progesterone. It's probably nothing but round ligament pain. You're going to have to be okay. So instead, I am going by the local hospital here, because I was actually going to go to the hospitals in the next city over. Only, not so much that the care is that much better, but the wait is a lot less because it's a smaller town, smaller hospital, so they move a little faster. About half the time. Like if I sit at the one here for 10 hours, I'd only have to be at that one for about 5. And when I had the baby, had the miscarriage last year, and I was pregnant, I went to that ER one time, and I loved it. It was a lot quicker. The care was just as good, if not better. So if I was to go again, I'd probably go over there. Now, I have been to the local ER here once with this pregnancy, and that was last week. And like I said, you know, it was too soon to see anything on the ultrasound, so they didn't see much. They told me they could see something, but they couldn't see a sac yet. I guess it was just thickening in the lining. And they did blood work. So I'm actually on my way now to go by the hospital to pick up copies of the blood work and to pick up copies of the ultrasound. Now, you know, do I think I can see better than them? No. Now, granted, I did take classes on women's health care because, you know, well, you don't know, but I had planned to be a midwife. That was, I was getting my master's in nursing to be a certified midwife and open up my own birthing center. And that didn't quite pan out, you know, because of some other stuff going on with life. But a lot of the classes I've taken in health classes and nursing classes were with women's health. So I'm, you know, while I'm not an ultrasound tech, you know, for the most part, I kind of know what I'm looking at. So, you know, I just want copies for my own personal, to be able to look at, to see, you know, my husband, of course, he thinks it's twins, and I'm starting to believe that he might be right. And I want to just look on the ultrasound and see if I can see what I think, what they saw is the beginning of maybe 2 sacs or just the beginning of 1 or whatever. I mean, if I had to pay for this, I probably would not get copies. But because it's free, because they're mine, and, you know, I think they'd also be kind of cute to put in the scrapbook, too, as very first ultrasound pictures. And, you know, and keep them. So I'm going to swing by the local hospital and pick up copies of that. And, you know, copies of my blood work, because I would like to compare levels. Because I'm diabetic, I am followed at Duke Medical Center typically every 3 months for my diabetes, but when I'm pregnant, they follow me every month. However, this pregnancy, I elected to make it where I only went to go see them starting in October, because I just knew squeezing in a doctor's appointment in September, along with, you know, my regular OB appointments, was going to be kind of rough because school is just starting back. So my first OB diabetes appointment is October 17th. So my whole thing was, you know, I'd like to look at my labs from the last couple times I went up to Duke to see how my levels are going, because their biggest thing was my potassium was really, really low for like the last 2 years, and I've been trying to get it back up there. And now that I'm pregnant, of course, I'm on a multivitamin, so that helps a little bit. Plus, I've been trying to drink more orange juice for the folic acid and the potassium, obviously. So, you know, I've been trying to do a better job, a much better job at taking care of myself, especially now that I'm pregnant. So I want to go and take a look at my labs. I'm almost positive I had like a 6 or 3.8 on my potassium, which is really, really good, because the last couple times I did my potassium up at Duke, it was only like 3.2, 3.1, which is definitely a deficiency. So, you know, anyhow, I want to go get copies of that, and, you know, that doesn't take too long. And then I am headed out to go to class. So I just wanted to give you that update, and I may shoot another little video later to talk about some other stuff. I haven't got that far yet. But until then, take care.